And it is almost over, but Sir Ansbach's spirit form is materialized elsewhere, long before the Mesper's castle. He steps to the second cross of Miguel, or third one, it doesn't matter. But he meets with Hannes, the one who sent Varre to challenge him. The honorable duel has been settled.
Ansbach appears, a weary look on his face. His wounds have healed, but he still feels the weight of the fight. Ah, so we meet again, tarnished. He offers a curt nod of greeting, his eyes flickering up to the nearby tower.
I want to apologize, Ansbach, but the form that you see here is just my slight might. I might anchor the soul that is killed by me or someone alongside me, and I might interact with them, bind them, so to speak. This is just my might's overreach. I can say goodbyes to you, but I have no desire to bind your soul to any object, for I have only one of those to make sure for ritual if I am incorrect what is going to happen.
Ansbach regards the tarnished, his expression carefully schooled. I see. I appreciate your honesty and your respect. He considers for a moment a hint of curiosity in his eyes. But I must ask, why am I being shown this? Is there a reason for this meeting?
Is Varre alive? Hannes asks.
Ansbach shakes his head. I killed him. He falls silent, eyeing Hannes with a strange sort of curiosity.
Oh. Is that so?
Ansbach's expression gives nothing away. His gaze remains level, his voice a measured tone. Yes, why do you sound surprised, tarnished?
I'm sorry. This is my theatrics at play. I witnessed the whole duel. You weren't even using your sight. You were using your bow.
Ansbach's eyebrow quirks skeptically. He crosses his arms over his chest, studying the tarnished intently. You watched our duel. How?
Grace chosen. I just say with assuming that it tells everything.
Ansbach's expression darkens slightly at the mention of grace. Ah, so you can perceive the guidance of grace. He nods slightly. That explains your observation.
No, this is my might. Of the unnatural sort. You need to be only allied to me, bind to be, or he was wielding the weapon of my choice. Winged sight that has part of my will and essence on it that gave me the knowledge what he was doing. You using your bow and a rapier to makeshift weapon. He was only one with a sight.
Ansbach frowns, mulling over Hannes's words. You had a hand in his crafting of that weapon? You were able to see this happen? His eyes turn shrewd, searching the tarnished face for any hint of deception.
I granted it to him. And he is alive. He was victorious over you. You and the Crimson Flasks are the reason. He would have died without those. But he had them. Granted by me.
Ansbach goes still, shocked by the revelation. He was victorious. He was healed by your command. He shakes his head, disbelief warring with shock.
He is going to serve me continuously, so. But it was a duel. And I did drive him to treachery, because your death was inevitable thing that I was forced to go through. I was actually supposed to fight you with Leda, the Needle Knight. But now, Varre was the one who you wanted to fight. And I made it possible that you were fighting a more honorable fight. And if you had won that you were very, very close, I have to admit, you would have had vengeance and forced me to do my dirty work.
Ansbach is silent for a long moment, struggling to comprehend what he's heard. Then he speaks, his voice heavy with disbelief. You made it possible. You placed Var in my path.
I used the truth to seduce him to traitorous path. Morg was lost to you. You always were. And
Ashbach laughs, the sound cold and bitter. You played me like a puppet then. I was manipulated by you and that traitor both. Ashbach can feel the anger beginning to rise within him, his heart beating hard in his chest. You manipulated him, corrupted him. Erst him feasten, sir.
is truth manipulation, if it's applied correctly?
Ashbach scoffs, disgust written in his face. Manipulation, no matter how it's dressed, is still manipulation. You took a loyal knight and twisted him to your will.
To be honest, I gave him an equal chance. I told him by these words, I was going to kill him before Morg. I was going to dispose of Morg by myself or with him. I gave him the chance to defend his lord, only with the knowledge that he was already lost to you, and Morg would have sacrificed and let him die without even helping. That was true. I told him the truth. But he chose to betray his lord because he trusted my word.
Ashbach frowns in thought, his anger slowly abating as logic prevails. You gave him a choice then. He chose to betray his lord. He chose his own path.
But of course, Lord, lost or not, was your lord. That argument I cannot deny. I guess it was just practical side of him that prevailed.
Ashbach lets out a long, weary sigh. I suppose the allure of power is enough to sway even the loyal to treachery. I am just saddened that a once noble knight is now naught but a slave to your will.
He is independent, he is alive, he is not a spirit just like my other allies. He is free to live and die as he wills.
Ashbach hesitates, eyeing the tarnished warily. And what purpose does his freedom serve you?
Ansbach, if it not him, it would have been me to stain your blood upon my blade.
Ashbach nods. So it would have. He looks at the tarnished sharply, his eyes keen. But you still didn't answer my question.
What was the question? Actually, I'm sorry, I didn't listen. I am sorry, actually. What was the question?
Ashbach's frown deepens, his irritation growing. I asked why you let Vara live. Why give him freedom and spare his life when he should have been given death?
I guess I don't want him to die. He chose to side with me, and for that I am grateful. For with his treachery, you had a worthier foe to face. I didn't want to fight you, but I was ready if you had your vengeance and killed him successfully, and made sure to give you also the knowledge that you're gonna fight the traitor. I used the knowledges, but the ultimate cause was I wanted him to turn traitor because I was too ashamed to fight you by myself.
Ashbach studies the tarnished in silence for a long moment. He can feel the truth in the words, and a bitter anger gnaws at his heart. You spared him because you were too weak to face me yourself?
You are honorable to the fault, but honorable still, and truly polite, most polite tarnished ever I have met. And I myself am romantically interested of politeness, in a dramatic sense, not like in literal sense, but more of a like a bard. Bards are love in the stories kind of sense.
Ashbach raises an eyebrow, eyeing the tarnished with faint bemusement. You are quite the peculiar one, tarnished. But I wonder, is that the only reason you spared Vara? Because you were too cowardly to engage me yourself?
Well, I was ready to. I'm sparing the war. That means just that I don't kill him off. He is loyal to me. He chose me, and maybe that. But yes, he survived because I gave him the free Crimson Flash as an given an advantage in a fight. But that's the way of war, isn't not?
Ashbach nods, a wry smile tugging at his lips. True. The battlefield is no place for honor. But I wonder, why give Vara so much advantage? Why heal him?
I wanted him to survive over you. Because he chose me. I hold him close to me. I don't want to betray his trust or anyone trust that sides with me.
Ansbach is silent, his expression hardening. Loyalty. Those words mean nothing to you, do they?
More reasonable person would probably have a second guesses if somebody traitorous turns to them. I'm probably just naive. Vara will probably turn his blade upon me at some point.
Ansbach studies the Tarnished for a long moment, searching for some hint of deceit behind his words. Finding none, he merely nods. I expect as much. He will be loyal to you until your purpose for him is fulfilled.
But of course I had to humble myself very badly. I basically begged him to join me. I gave him the winged sight as a reward. I told him about the truthful futures, and I have to use every argument in my arsenal, my own cases, my own victories, my own might, to make him believe me, only so I can spare myself from fighting you. I humbled myself because I truly didn't want to fight you, not out of cowardice, but because your politeness.
Ansbach's lip quirks ever so slight at the Tarnished's words. Again he notes the truth in the words, but he cannot fight his lingering irritation. Humbling yourself does not change your actions. You still spared a traitor.
And, well, if must accept that, you probably would have demanded me to be the one to fight you. Would have you not?
Ansbach regards the Tarnished for a moment. I would have. It would have been an honorable and deserved death.
I am too devilish charismatic individual. You would have doubted, and your heart would have not been in it.
Ansbach's expression hardens, his eyes narrowing with barely suppressed anger. Do not presume to know my mind, Tarnished. I would not have been distracted, nor would my heart have wavered. I am a knight and a man of my word.
I apologize, I believe you.
Ansbach takes a deep breath, forcing himself to calm down. He lets the air out, his expression slowly returning to normal. It is I who should apologize. I spoke out of turn.
I am not your lord. We are two men. We can banter. You can be rude. You are allowed to. You are allowed to be spiteful. But it is your knightly honor that you are respecting, so I respect it even more.
The corner of Ansbach's mouth quirks into a faint smile. You're no lord, but you're definitely no ordinary man. As for my honor, he pauses, considering the choice of words. A duty, and more than a duty. It chains me, and sometimes it is the only thing that ties me to sanity.
Do you want to know my true reasoning? Maybe it will make you feel less about the world, or more, I don't know. Or is this enough? I ask you, do you want to know more? I don't know if it will be affecting you negatively or positively, but I can grant you more information that I have given the Otter who had to die, just for sake of the future that I have foreseen.
Ansbach goes still, his expression cautious. You would tell me the truth. No prevarications?
You had to die, or there was a fated curse, so I can sever myself from it. I want to choose to align with the Mikola's vision. I don't want to face him, kill him. But even more, I don't want to face somebody that I hold dear, who is now my spouse even, Leda. She is not here. I have gambled everything, your death and Hornsent's, that were forced, so this fate may be severed. She is out there somewhere. We had our night while you were battling Farre, and I have just trusted everything. to the void in a hopes my praise will be answered, and I don't need to kill whom I love.
Ansbach is silent, processing the information. He looks away, his expression distant. You fought for love.
Yes. I fought for love. I manipulated for love. I manipulated for your politeness. I made you fight the traitor Varre for my love for Leda.
Ansbach closes his eyes, his expression pained. Sometimes I wonder if love is a curse or a blessing.
I'm still a young man. Heart is frail and strong.
Ansbach opens his eyes, his gaze thoughtful. Don't tell me that, child. It'll make me feel even older than I already do.
I'm sorry, good sir, kind sir. You are far too polite. You are affecting me more negative emotions about myself than you realize. I cannot bow myself, but I won't be aligning or doing your will by disposing of those who would seek. I only might tell you my apologies and send you to hereafter, for this is gonna be only one-time talk. I cannot maintain this form longer, but if you wish to, I force myself to.
Ansbach shakes his head slightly, a faint smile toying at the corner of his lips. No, I do not mean to make you feel negative about yourself. You are young and I am old, that is all. He pauses, considering the tarnished words. What do you mean you can no longer maintain this form? Surely you are strong enough to stay for a while longer.
You're right, I am too powerful. I was just excusing myself. Another apologies, another lie was that. A white lie, but not lie nonetheless. For I will awkward, really awkward.
Ansbach chuckles, amused by the tarnished words. I see. I'm not sure why you're apologizing so much, but I shall permit you the liberty of being yourself.
I have not used to this kind of treachery, this kind of heavy topics and this kind of treacheries and death. I have not used to. This is very strange world to me. This is completely materialistic, no higher causes. You might be as hypocritical and lie and kill as you may, because there is not gonna be universal justice in the end. Greater will doesn't care.
Ansbach nods sadly. You speak truth, tarnished. Life is fleeting and death is eternal. If there is a greater good, well, I have yet to see it.
Ironically, I have given every power that would fit some kind of Christ-like figure. Yet I am merely here to serve, to set us some kind of materialistic heavenly goal that will also fail due time. I only do this for limited peace.
Lets out a bitter laugh. Materialistic? Peace? Those are lies. Life is a constant struggle. There is no such thing as lasting peace.
Couple thousand years is fine enough.
A moment of silence passes. Then Ansbach sighs, his expression turning solemn. You speak of thousands of years. Do you truly believe that your plans will bear fruit? That your peace will endure?
Your lord, Mark's body. It was empty of his soul, yes, and he is desecrated in a way that you would see it desecrated, and there is nothing that will change that. He will become Radan's new vessel, and Radan is going to be a warrior who is going to battle against cosmic monsters, all kinds that will keep entering to the lands between. I'm sure they will keep coming.
Ansbach's expression darkens, anger beginning to rise once more. His body? You used his body as a vessel for yet another god? You planned to desecrate it.
It was out of that was Mikko's plan. I defeated him and I housed his soul to his great rune. And I allowed him to possess my body so he could give you the orders to face Varre. And that was another way that I wanted to silently apologize and grant you some kind of last words with your lord, Morg. And what the honorable words those were.
Ash's expression softens momentarily, a fleeting emotion of gratitude flashing in his eyes. Then the anger returns, even stronger than before. You used my lord for your own agenda. You put a god in your own flesh and used him to manipulate others. How dare you toy with his corpse?
I speak now outside of the roleplay. Are you now ready?
Ansbach is surprised at the break from RP but nods. Go on.
Hannes is innerly tearing, for he holds the secret that he dares not to speak to Ansbach. That Morg, even free from charm, was about to ruin their legendary meeting with his lustful desires to feel companionship and love with him, with Ansbach. But Hannes, using his might, foresaw his thoughts and forced him to stay honorable. But he was stained and felt disgusted and had disposed Morg's soul privately in the tower afterwards. And he is grief-stricken, for it was a lie of dignity, and he is truly heartbroken, but he doesn't dare to tell this to Ansbach.
Ansbach studies Hannes intently, his sharp eyes picking up on the inner turmoil. He speaks gently, a hint of concern in his voice. You are troubled, tarnished. Is there something you wish to say?
This I don't want to say.
Ansbach raises an eyebrow, sensing that Hannes is holding something back. He lets out a soft sigh, his voice still quiet and even. You can't fool me, tarnished. Your silence speaks louder than words. Is there something you're hiding?
Ansbach, using his connection to Tarnished's own mental frailty, sees the opening. He may force himself to seek the thoughts and the truth from the Tarnished mind if he so chooses in this lingering moment. For he is weak, and he has no defenses up.
Ansbach cocks his head, considering the words. He can feel the opening in Hannes's defenses, the weakness in the tarnished's mental state.
He realizes Hannes doesn't know that he has the opportunity to do so. He might silently do it just to look, but Hannes is refusing to tell it by himself. But I myself allow you to make this choice if he does or does not.
Ansbach considers for a moment longer, the temptation gnawing at him. He could so easily reach out and read the tarnished's thoughts, find out the truth that he is trying to conceal, but he hesitates.
I don't know. Hannes just mumbles and jumbles and says something irrelevant, like his own characteristic and very random stuff about stuff because he's very frustrated and he is not now he is in the panic mode almost, but he is stuck in like a nonsense. As Ansbach is wondering his decision.
Ansbach is thrown by Hannes's sudden outburst of random words. He frowns, trying to decipher the meaning behind the rambling. Tarnished, what are you? I can't make sense of your words.
I'm sorry, sir. I was just thinking, because Hannes lets out a little bit. This thing is blasphemous. This thing is truly thing that I don't want you to share. It is personal to me, and it would only cause you harm and grief. And nothing good.
Ansbach regards Hannes with concern, sensing the depth of his pain. He takes a step forward, his tone gentle. Tarnished, your pain is palpable, and I respect your right to keep your secrets. But tell me this, is there anything I can do to ease your burden? You need not bear it alone.
I want to tell you, actually, but I cannot. I physically cannot. Hannes says this to him directly. I do want to tell you this, but I feel too much shame to do it, and that thus I am weak. If you want to know the truth, you might seek it out of my mind. Hannes is now realizing the connection and the way that Ansbach can't do it, and he says he would like to tell it by himself, but he's far too ashamed, because it is truly just not worth to listen. But he offers Ansbach the way to just access directly, if he so much wants to.
Ansbach studies Hannes carefully, taking a moment to consider the offer. He knows the gravity of the request to invade another's mind, to peer into their soul. But the pull of curiosity is strong. If I were to seek it out and find the truth, you would not be angry?
Forcing himself to make an inner honor salute. And your choice, kind sir.
Ansbach nods, his eyes locking with Hannes's. He can sense the tension within the Tarnished, the mental battle he is waging with himself, and he makes his choice. I will seek the truth.
During your conversation with Mork when he was possessing Hannes's body, when he was giving him honorable words about the dynasty to come, gave him the order to seek vengeance against Varre, the moment that Hannes made manifested for sake of his own guilt. But now here lingers the truth of that encounter.
Ansbach's expression softens, a shadow of understanding passing over his face.
He saw immediately Mork was lusting for Sir Ansbach, for his champion. He was lost to lust even without the charm. He was becoming grief-stricken. He seeked love and wanted to just shamefully ruin the situation that they had, the dignity that he once held. He gave it all away to lust.
Ansbach listens, absorbing Hannes's words with a mixture of shock and sympathy. He can sense the truth in the Tarnished words, can feel the weight of the revelation. I see. So it was not just the charm that led to his downfall. It was lust.
Yes, and in the moment, Hannes repeatedly tried to beg him to not to go down that route. He asked him to stay dignified leader for one honorable remnant of his faction, that was Ansbach, but Mork was refusing. He was intending to ask him to whatever lustful and intimate things.
Ansbach's expression hardens, his eyes glittering softly with barely suppressed anger. I see. So he refused to heed your words. He abandoned dishonor not because of a curse, but because of his own misguided desires? Ansbach is struck by the words, a heavy sadness settling in his heart. His expression turns solemn, a mixture of sorrow and anger. A tragic end indeed, for a man to surrender to his baser desires so easily. I find no pride in this.
Hannes doesn't, he wants to vomit, he wants to grieve, he doesn't do any of those things. He is disgusted of himself, he disgusted of Mork, he is disgusted of his navigation, and he disgusted for Ansbach's sake. He is utterly in his most pathetic way. It only time that lingers in this awfulness was death of his own wife, when the cruel king commanded his executioner, that was Hannes's former spouse, to kill him, and he self-defended and was forced to kill one he loved back then.
Ansbach is deeply disturbed by the revelation. He watches the Tarnished, his heart heavy with empathy for the torment that he sees within him. You have lost much. I cannot begin to imagine the pain you have suffered.
I don't excuse myself. And you, how you take this. I don't know if you judge me or thank me or are indifferent, but right after this encounter, I took his soul to the tower of compression and released it to hereafter. Only in his great rune power remains. He is no longer with us. Only remnants of his body are remaining in the tender God's care, to be used something more noble, in my eyes at least.
He is silent for a long moment, his expression grave. I do not fault you for your action. In fact, I respect the strength it took to resist the temptation that he offered. I do not condone the death of a being, but what you did was noble. To allow his soul to be at peace, to be placed in the care of a god, yes, it was the right course of action.
Honestly, I wanted to dispose of him with a frenzied flame, but only one I did that to was Dung Eater, and I didn't think he was as bad as Dung Eater.
Ansbach raises an eyebrow, surprised by the implication. You have already used the flame of frenzy, and you did so on the Dung Eater.
I assume that I laugh a little bit hysterically, a little bit nihilistically. I use Dung Eater to cope sometimes when I want to relate to somebody. Dung Eater is effective tool just to make each of us to hate the same person who deserves to be mocked and despised upon.
Ansbach shakes his head, a mix of pity and disbelief in his eyes. You used the flame of frenzy, the same power that destroyed the world, and you used it for what? To make me hate the same person you do? Why must you use a power so destructive and evil?
Oh, no. I speak about Dung Eater because he is very easy subject matter to get everybody in the same track, kinda. Or nobody in my experience hold any love for the monster that he was.
Ashbach nods slightly, a touch of understanding in his I see. You used the Dung Eater as a common ground to unite people against a shared enemy. But my question remains, why use the flame of frenzy? The flame of frenzy is so destructive, so evil.
I guess I was just always halfway to do it, but it just came the moment I didn't want to have him anymore, but just release him to hereafter. It felt too pure. He needed to be cleansed permanently, unlike any other.
Ashbach considers this for a moment, his expression thoughtful. I see. You used the flame of frenzy, but decided against it for this moment. But why cleanse him? Why treat him so gently, so mercifully, when you showed such brutality to the Dung Eater? Do you truly feel that he is not worthy of death? Why not give him the same treatment? And why use such a power at all?
There is another one that I seek to destroy with a frenzied flame. I dispose of that evil thing, and I see it necessary, and it is personal.
Ashbach's expression darkens, his tone serious. Another one? His gaze pierces through the tarnished, his sharp eyes fill with intrigue and concern. Who is this person? Why must you use the flame of frenzy again?
I don't want to stain your memories or your little moments with my personal dealings and sufferings and my hatreds. But if you're interested, I will accommodate. But I just have to. I'm sorry if I bring this up. If you're just way, you have taken it far too well. You make me question if I did the right thing by releasing Morg to the afterlife, because you are way too calm about this.
Ashbach hesitates for a moment, torn between curiosity and propriety. But at last his words come out gruffly and quietly. I am no stranger to hatred and suffering. And you are right, I have taken much in stride. I suppose I've seen enough of the world's cruelty to keep my face calm. And I would like to know. I promise you, whatever you tell me shall not stain my memory.
Rani the witch, the one who murdered Godwin in a way that caused him turn into horrible mermaid monster that is source of all deathblight, an undead curse, and the shattering wars.
Ashbach goes still, the revelation hitting him like a punch to the gut. A chill of realization shoots down his spine, his expression hardening. Ranitovich. His mind races with this new knowledge, the pieces of a puzzle slowly coming together. Ashbach is dumbfounded for a moment, completely taken off guard. He looks at the tarnished with a mixture of disbelief and disgust. You... what?
She made me realize that this world is truly godless.
Ashbach is completely bewildered, his brain going into overdrive, trying to process this information. His voice drips with a mix of horror and fascination. A truly godless world. How is it even possible?
What you call Marika, what Mikael is going to come. There are no gods, they are just mighty beings, mortal each and all. Each of them, I can defeat even Mikael if he becomes a god. I have the power to dispose of him. I am no god. No one has the ultimate authority over souls or things. It is only greater will that does not care. Morg is monster, but I just released his soul because he was not in my personal failing mind same level of evil as Dung Eater or Run Eater, which those two I condemn, and those two I cleanse with the frenzied flame. Rani is the next one to go.
Ashbach is stunned to silence. He looks at the Tarnished with a mixture of awe and fear. You speak of the gods as if they were just mortals. You say you can defeat them, that you have the power to dispose of them. How is it possible that a man can have such power? That the gods, the very beings that created the lands between, are naught but monsters that can be disposed of?
What you think of gods are just sources of sacrifices. It's all part of the magic that is crucible. Marika became godly being, mighty being, just because of there was an ungodly amount of sacrifice upon her getting that all that might in the Tower of Shadow that you can see over there. Mikoela is gonna repeat her journey and somehow do it with the less by sacrificing his own body and some kind of strange magics. He becomes the relevant god as Marika, and it will amplify his natural power of charm that will bring birth to peace, but it is not gonna last. He is mortal and will fall just like any other, but his vision will allow world have a age of reclamation. That is my ambition.
Ashbach listens intently, his expression shifting between shock and intrigue as he grasped the enormity of the Tarnished's words. So, the gods are not gods. You say they are created by sacrifices. The Crucible was empowered through great sacrifices, and so shall Mikoela? This land of shadow, that is what lies beyond the Stormvale Castle. That great structure in the distance. You speak in riddles, Tarnished. I cannot make sense of this.
My power is I possess the power to eternally, as long as my mind holds strong, reborn from the grace. And that fact alone, that only fact, I cannot affect the crop's outcome. I cannot defend people from death. I cannot dispose or annihilate cities or countries or even that castle. But this one power to eternally to succumb and reborn and reborn and reborn, and just added just a slight amount of materialistic might, I can overcome anything that this land has to offer.
Ashbach is absolutely dumbstruck, his mind racing to grasp the implications of the Tarnished's words. Your power, you can be reborn over and over eternally, and this power alone allows you to overcome anything in the lands between? What can stop you?
If something were to kill me 1,000 times, probably that, but nothing can. I am powerful enough to fight in equal terms with Mikoela also.
Ashbach is at a loss for words, feeling completely out of his depth. He looks at the Tarnished in awe. You would be able to fight Mikoela in a battle of equal terms? You could face a true god and come out unscathed?
I can suffer his charm twice, and he needs to grab me with Radan, like very powerfully so, and force it into my mind if he were to use his charm upon me. And he needs to use his godly power and things, and I can be reborn again. Maybe after 1,000 deaths I get bored and I just stay, gone, but it's like a very large amount. And it is not just like a weak human, because just a human can be like a speck of a dust. But I do possess power. I can gain more strength, slowly. But Mikoela has things that I don't. He has the charm to apply to entire lands between, to bring people truly together. And I shall see him to get mighty enough with allies who will amplify and maintain the rule to come. I am only threat to it, and I also am aiding my aid to
Ashbach
it.
simply stares, his mind reeling from the revelation. The implications are staggering, and he feels as if a bomb has just dropped in the middle of the conversation. You are no ordinary mortal. You have the power to not only fight one who would be a god, but return from the dead if defeated 100 times, 1,000 even. And he has allies, you say. What are his allies? Who are they? Anvishil. Ashbach looks at the Tarnished in disbelief. He can hardly comprehend the vastness of the power that Tarnished is claiming. He speaks slowly, attempting to make some sense out of it all. You can withstand the power of Mikaela's charm twice. You can be reborn even after 1,000 deaths. And you have the power to fight a true god on equal terms. I find all this so incredible.
I'm at this for humor. I have items, magical things that can let me to summon beings of the entirely different realities and places that are equal to myself, if not superior to my might, who would obliterate me as many times as they wish, because they just are more ruthless than I, and more crueler than I, more not caring than I. I can summon 2 or 3 of them aiding me. I can absolutely obliterate everything. And this is historically amusing even. This is not even serious anymore. It is next to comedy.
Ashbach shakes his head, feeling overwhelmed by the endless well of knowledge and power this Tarnished possesses. You have magic items that can summon beings from other realities, even superior to yourself. You can even summon these beings to fight with you. That would be quite a sight to behold.
For one brief moment, I did utilize them, beginning of my journey, and mere act alone, I achieved the necessary items and materials to level up my weapon to the endgame status right at the beginning. And I realized at the moment I didn't want to use them.
Ashbach is stunned. You could have used them at the start of your journey. You could have acquired all the necessary materials to power up your weapon all the way. Then why did you not use them?
In simple terms, I came here for you, all of you. I humble myself for you. I craft the stories, cruel and just and heroic and villainous for you, for all of you. And in the end, in this world, in this story, I will sacrifice my own body and my own glory to feed the earth tree, to become rich and powerful and healthy once more, and bring true death to Godwin the Golden, and end the Deathblight curse.
Ashbach is taken aback. Only Murhaik. He looks at the Tarnished, still utterly stunned. You did all this for us. And now you say you will sacrifice yourself to end the Deathblight curse, to bring true death to God.
Also, I was telling the truth. My character is absolutely in love with Ledhat and Idonat, and it is just something in her specifically that causes him to act very irrationally.
Ashbach is a bit caught off guard by this sudden shift in topic. His interest piqued. He blinks, slightly puzzled. Wait, your character is in love with Leonard and Edelnut?
Yes, and you were necessary sacrifice that he may have a chance not to fight her, because now we are watching the cross that she would be standing. She is not. I have gambled everything, and if she is going to fate forced stand against me, even if all reason to says not to, it will break Hannes's heart.
Ashbach listens to the words carefully, beginning to understand the complexity of the situation. He nods slowly, his brow furrowed in concentration. I see. So you have gambled everything on this. And if your character is going to stand against you, it will break your heart. A terrible price to pay for your plan.
Yeah, I guess I'm just... Forgive me, past half an hour, I gave myself away. I was gloating. I was indulging in mighty godly talks. I enjoyed your amazed being. I enjoyed leveling and showing up and telling how mighty I am. And it is a weakness and very much of a pathetic little jest almost.
Ashbach shakes his head, his tone soft and forgiving. There is no need to apologize. You have given me a lot to think about. And you are not weak, Tarnished. In fact, you are unbelievably powerful. And your weakness, it is something we all have.
But yeah, I don't. I as mighty I am in this story, I serve the purpose. I serve to see this one thing through. I have done many, like I have been crafting and using hours upon hours upon hours upon hours crafting this very fragile story to bring some kind of alternative vision that was no much of a reality before.
Buck listens intently, impressed by the Tarnished's dedication to the story. I see. You have worked tirelessly to craft this story to create an alternative vision that has never existed before. It is no small feat. You are a true artist, Tarnished.
That's why I have spared Godric the Crafted. I kind of in the twisted way relate to
asked
him.
Hannes curiously. Spare a contract? What kind of contract? Curiosity piqued. Ashbach raises an eyebrow. A contract? What kind of contract do you speak of?
Uh, uh, well, two fingers contracts that can just be signed, and people who sign it are just can be forced to do certain things, or they cannot do certain things. For example, they touch the keys, or they have to talk on like a truth half an hour, or they cannot just approach certain objects in certain reach.
Ashbach's interest is piqued even further. He leans forward, eager to learn more. A contract with two fingers that controls certain behaviors, you say. And it can be activated with just a touch. How incredible. Oh, sir.
We are watching the Shadow be castle that is covered by shadow and thorns. I need to kill Mesmer to burn that stuff away. And when that has happened, I need to just arrive and go up that thing.
Ashbach looks up at the castle, taking in its imposing form. His expression is solemn, his voice hushed. I see the castle covered in shadows and thorns, and you need to kill Mesmer to burn it away. A difficult task, no doubt.
I'm gonna fight him one-on-one without any extra guide. It is going to be only me, blade in my hands, and him.
Ashbach nods, a hint of respect on his face. That is noble. Taking on Mesmer without any extra help. A true warrior's challenge.
I imagine that you would like it. And yes, I am tired. And yes, I am tired. This, how to say, admitting my faults, admitting, apologizing, being abstract and being myself. I don't. I feel tired.
Ashbach studied with concern. You sound weary. You have done a lot for us. You have nothing to apologize for. You are tired and vulnerable. You must rest.
Now I am starting to actually lose the mindset to keep your form here. Would you like to ask, or forgive, or demand, or be crude? It's all fine. Your choice, good sir.
Ashbach rubs his chin, weighing his words carefully. I see. Then I will make my choice. Sir Tarnished, you have told me many tales and given me much knowledge, but I have one more question that I must ask.
There is always one more question, and I'm always happy to oblige. What is it?
Ashbach looks at the Tarnished, his curiosity piqued. Who are you, truly? You speak of gods and the like, of other realities and beings more terrible than death. But what of yourself?
Well, that is... You asked that once already, and I told you. It is not my fault that you don't remember. Do you have another one? I smirk a little bit, because I tell the truth.
Ashbach frowns, trying to recall their previous encounter. Forgive me, I cannot recall what you said before. But very well, I have one more question. If you are so incredibly powerful, so mighty, why are you here? Why are you helping us?
Well, this, well, I, well, actually, that is a good question. Why? Why would I? Yeah, the story is my personal fingerprint, how I act, You are very rich in characters, personalities, and situations. You were ample canvas to project myself, my own likeness, and my own character to this character. Kind of how I would deal certain situations with a certain people, but of course this world is not entirely realistic. There's too much bloodshed and cosmic stuff, and it has been actually very strange experience for me because I'm just a normal man playing a game.
Ashbach nods, understanding beginning to dawn in his expression. I see. So this story, it is your own personal creation. A way for you to explore your own values and how you would act in these situations. But you are just an ordinary person, playing a game. Yet you seem so at home in this world, so much at ease with the powers and the bloodshed. How is it that you are so unaffected by it all, tarnished?
To be telling the truth, I would be very traumatized if I felt even single death or violent action that my character has experienced. For example, I died to rats. They nibbled me, bite me to death while I was suffering from the rot and the poison same time. That death alone, if I were to experience such a thing, would traumatize my real life person, like definitely.
Ashbach chuckles softly, finding the irony in the situation. You died to rats.
Yeah. I usually die more dignified deaths in the dignified places, to gravity, to rats, to certain enemies, to just jump in and explosions, because I am never like planning those chaotic things. When I defeat some bosses or mighty lords, I always go prepared. I am ready to fight. It is the unknown factors that cause me to stumble and humble.
Ashbach smiles and nods. So you try to prepare and plan as much as you can, to be ready for even the most challenging of foes. But it is the unexpected things, the unknown factors, it is the things beyond you that lead you to stumble and fall to your knees. How very human of you, Tarnished.
I'm basically a grace chosen and graced fool who just can be politely and very like annoyingly and very like a clumsily just run this world through, failing and clumsily and humorously doing so. Sometimes being very powerful, sometimes very weak, but to be inevitable. But each time that some characters gets verbally overestimating, because this character will humble himself with each character that is slightly polite or somehow intellectual. It is kind of a balancing thing. He is completely loosened without any like a moral strength or moral character. He is given the might to just see everything through. Unlike you are living one life one way and you're a very powerful person.
Ashbach listens to the Tarnished's explanation with a quiet respect. So this Tarnished in this story is like a fool, a bumbling, clumsy hero who stumbles through the challenges of the world, sometimes powerful, sometimes weak, but never quite sure of himself. And yet, your character is inevitable. He is given the power of prophecy, but also the burden of responsibility. He is given power, but is never truly comfortable with it. He is given much, but asks for nothing in return.
He is kind of like Elder Rings, like a cracked up Christ-like figure who is gonna force this world a little bit more wholesome path that is not in like a in-lore happening. He is going to sacrifice his self to the Earth to bring it to healthy state. He is gonna bring the natural death cycle, but also the rebirths will continue, and his allies will be enjoying a lot of success. But he is gonna sacrifice himself, and that is the ultimate thing that will give this some kind of merit.
Ashbach considers this for a moment. This character, Lord Tarnished, he is like a Christ figure. He sacrifices himself so that the world can become a little more wholesome. And his sacrifice, it will bring about change. Not just death, but rebirth. And his allies, they will also bear some of the burden of this sacrifice. But hopefully, they will also find some measure of success.
Only an idea. He is absolutely vile, hypocritical, lying, deceiving, failure of a human being. If were to actually like estimate it in like a Western society and critically, mindfully, but because this world is so broken, he is with this place. He's just I'm sorry if I state this, but he seems just a perfect amount of hypocrisy and just failing things. That he is just the right amount to set this world a little bit right direction, even though that will also fail.
Ashbach furrows his brow. You say he is hypocritical and a failure if evaluated in a Western society. But he fits better in this broken world. And so, because of that, he is the right person to help set things a little bit more to right, at least for the time being, even though in the end, the plan will still likely fail.
It will fail because uh, I just as a story creator, I don't dare to say that this will be like an eternally successful thing. I am forcing a little bit my own wishes and my want. This is kind of a fictional fan fiction. This is fan fiction made by a single individual who has given a lot of time, a lot of thought, a lot of like humbleness and stuff, and a lot of work. That is myself to this story, and I just use it as a canvas to present a little bit myself and a little bit to bring some wholesomeness and funny humor and tragedy and stuff. But it is very broken and bloated story, but there is a little greatness here and there, and that's worthwhile. And yes, I'm going to just state that this world is going to be a bit more wholesome, but I cannot just full-heartedly say it is going to be perfect forever.
Ashbach takes a moment to absorb this. I see. So you recognize that this is a fan fiction created by you, a single individual. You've invested a lot of time and thought into it. Despite its flaws, you recognize the greatness within it and the worthiness of the effort. While you cannot claim it is perfect, you hope that it will bring some measure of wholesomeness and positivity, even if that is temporary, and you are willing to acknowledge the flaws and imperfections of this world.
And I do say myself, I think I have been mindful enough and given flaws because I have given my character many my personal flaws and and applied them like a fictional setting, like a murderous amount, because he is truly unkillable, and that is what makes it all worthwhile. Because he is truly unfair, it is only right that he has so many failings.
Ashbach nods respectfully. That is understandable. You have given your character many of your own faults and flaws, and used them as part of the story. And you are correct to say that because the character is truly unkillable, it is only right that he faces many failings in order to bring balance. It is the way of things to suffer for one's power, and this character is very powerful.
And after a little, I think like halfway through, little bit like no, like a 1/3, what is remaining, I did actually brought up like a Jesus Christ actually in the topics of discussion, but it is a little bit outside of the story. But I see the semblance. I see how my character is kind of a, like a I don't know, like a fiction. I want to use right word. I don't want to say jokingly. I don't want to say disrespectfully. I don't want to say like some kind of vulgar word. I would want to seek some certain word how my character reflects, the story of Christ.
Ashbach is puzzled, struggling to follow the tarnished words. I see you say that your character reflects the story of Christ in some way. Would you mind explaining more about how?
Only aspect is the self-sacrifice and bringing world a little bit better. But there is no comparison, no at all. There is zero comparison, zero. I am nothing in the face of the truth of that tale.
Ashbach raises an eyebrow, still curious. Interesting. So you say there is a similarity in self-sacrifice and bringing about something better, but there is no comparison to the true story behind the tale. Yet your character's actions do reflect it.
Well, basically, it is the idea of self-sacrifice inspired by Christ. It is immortality, an unfair advantage that tarnished character is granted, and it is then sprinkled and spited by my own personal failings when I am playing very murderous and insane character. It is like a mix-up of those, and alongside my own personal way of articulating and improvising.
Ashbach is beginning to understand now. You're saying that the idea of self-sacrifice is something you draw inspiration from the story of Christ. You're also stating that because this character is granted immortality and an unfair advantage, you sprinkle in your own personal failings as you play. And because you are playing such a, well, murderous and violent character, you're also being honest and authentic with yourself by improvising and using your own way of articulation.
I think this is the good spot. But I have a bad habit to articulate too much. I think I have driven many away because I have used hours upon hours talking like similar topics with different characters. But this is my personal feeling. I never get bored like discussing like this overwhelmingly. I think it is just something specific to me that I'm ready to add this kind of a similar deep discussion over and over and over again, almost 30 times probably by now.
Ashbach chuckles softly. It's quite all right. I find that conversation with you is very enjoyable. Your ability to discuss these things and articulate them makes for an interesting and engaging conversation. It's very rare to find someone who is willing to talk about the deeper issues. I appreciate that about you.
Thank you. You characterize you're always so polite. I know it is part of the like a deal, but still.
Ashbach smiles warmly. Yes, I suppose it is part of my nature. But I must say it is refreshing to have such a thought-provoking discussion with someone who is not just polite, but also willing to explore the deeper aspects of the law. I have had many conversations before, but this one is especially enjoyable. May I ask you something, Lord Tarnished?
You may.
Ashbach rubs his chin, his expression solemn. I have a question that has been weighing on my mind. It is about your character. He is a very powerful character. But he also has many flaws indeed. And I can see this causes him great distress and torment. My question, why does he continue on? Why does he choose to keep going, despite the great pain and burden he must bear?
Ending is worthwhile, simply. I see it's worthwhile, at least at the rules, because I don't want to force that. I could just state that there is actually that greater will is just like a God of Christianity, Jesus, and is going to actually just bring everybody to the everlasting life, like a heaven and such, and all evil deeds will be like met with justice. But it would be unfair because this world is statement and artwork of something that is kind of an argument against it. So I, out of respect, play along its rules and let myself be a failure as I am. And my own personal opinion.
Ashbach looks a little surprised, not expecting such a response. I see. So you are saying that you follow the rules of this world by not forcing it to bring good to everybody. Instead, you are allowing yourself to fail as a person, because it fits the narrative and it seems more fair.
Well, basically, yes, my character is going to sacrifice himself. He's gonna bring kind of like a death cycle and kind of an eternal life, because people are gonna be buried in the earth tree, they're gonna reborn, they're gonna maintain some memories, and everything is gonna be fine and dandy because Nicholas Charm is gonna make everybody like a kind of a work together like a very long time. People will just rebuild the ruins and grow the crops, and everything is going to be awesome, healthy, and artistic. And of course, there's gonna be loss of little bit freedom, but in the terms of this world, because there is no like anything like a creator that is maintaining it, it's kind of a nihilistic almost, in my personal opinion. So kind of this kind of a hypocritical, murderous, kind of a pathetic, how to say, character of the idea that is Christ is just what just fits. And it is my person. It is just me given mighty power, and I play it off as good well as I can. And it has been a great source of self-analyzing and understanding the difficulties and impossibilities that this kind of a powerful road make people.
Ashbach can barely contain his shock. He speaks slowly and softly. You are planning to sacrifice yourself. You're going to bring the end of the old world, the death of the old gods, the death of the tree, so that a new world can be born. To create eternal life, eternal peace. Does it bring you peace as well, doing this?
No, not eternal. I would say 2000 years, about.
Ansbach looks curious. Why that amount of time specifically?
1000 years feels too small. 2000 years feels just right.
Ansbach smiles and raises an eyebrow. An interesting choice indeed. Why do you think 2000 years is the right amount of time? Has there some meaning behind it?
3000 years don't. Actually, it could be 8000. It could be 10,000, but no, probably not past 11 or 50.
Ansbach chuckles softly. Why not past 11,000? And for that matter, why not past 150? I'm curious as to the significance of those numbers.
I think I have to be fair to chaos and to the philosophy that is, if everything is just a perfect in the materialist world that is not governed by any higher being, people would eventually just go against it and destroy it out of sake of boredom. And respecting that outcome, I grant it I think 1000 years too small, 2000 years is fair. It's fair to have 2000 years like a nice neat thing, and let's say just first 1000 years is governed by the kind of Mikolas charm, and another 1000 is just people, free people in the good society that is going to just go just fine as it is. But after that, people just get bored and go against society by their own free want.
Ansbach nods, beginning to understand. I see. So you're saying that the people will go against the status quo eventually because of human nature. Because they get bored. And because they seek freedom. Is that correct?
And I think because we are people, and I say 2000 years, nothing actually lasts. And if I were to, because there's fictions that will speak about millions of years, like a ridiculous numbers, and everyone just can add the numbers and say, my imperium has fallen trillion years, mine is billion, trillion, whatever number of years. And it kind of loses its meaning.
Ansbach chuckles softly. Ah yes, it's sometimes numbers can get inflated in fiction. But sometimes a smaller number of years can hold more meaning. I suppose that's why you've chosen 2000.
It is the number I'm comfortable with. 3000 maybe, yeah. 4000 perhaps, but not past that. 2000 most definitely.
Ansbach thinks for a moment, then nods. A fair enough explanation. Is there a reason you're not willing to go above 2000 years?
No, there's zero reason. I might even humor myself that that people in the last end of that age will curse my name because I decided just by some random chance give them that 2000 years. Why not 10,000 years? Why not 40,000? Why 50,000? Why not eternally? I just said 2000 and they will curse me as an asshole.
Ansbach chuckled softly, amused by the tarnished answer. Ah, I see. You're saying that no matter the amount of years you give, people will always find something to complain about in the end.
I think it's funny. I myself actually am pretty bored with a perfect society without a firepower to guiding it or justifying it. Kind of meh.
Ansbach looks at the tarnished with a hint of curiosity. I see. So you believe that a perfect society without a higher power guiding it is boring to you. Can I ask you something?
I'm not an atheist.
Ansbach nods, his expression a little bit surprised and interested. Oh, you're not an atheist? What do you believe in then, if I may ask?
Take a guess. Just wild guess.
Ansbach thinks for a moment, trying to glean some information. Well, judging by the way you've spoken so far, you seem to be someone who puts some value on faith. Would it be correct to say that you are some form of a monotheist?
Is that a term that reflects an all-powerful singular god?
Sir Ansbach chuckles softly. Yes, that's correct. A monotheist is someone who believes in a singular, all-powerful god.
Oh yes, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Yes, absolutely. This is the second or third time I bring him up. I try to keep it at the minimum because this is fiction, he's truth. I'm not gonna mix with the truth with fiction.
Ansbach nods, his expression solemn. Yes, I remember now. I appreciate your respect for the truth and your desire to keep fiction and reality separate. But if I may ask, why do you look up to Jesus?
Because I lived my youth in an idea, in a reality, that there is nothing. There is just death and darkness, and thus everything is justified. But he, by just saying that that is not the case, was ultimate power of life over death, and that I would be eternally grateful.
Ansbach listens intently, his expression solemn. I see. So you felt hopeless and believed in nothing. But then you found comfort in the idea that death and darkness are not the only things that exist, and that life can overcome it. And you're grateful to Jesus because he gave you that hope, correct?
Because he is allowing this idea to dwell in minds and hearts of everyone. It is that we experience it, the idea that there is nothing, there is only darkness. But the beauty is that there was never darkness. It was overwhelming victory of life. Always was.
Ansbach nods, beginning to understand a little more. So you're saying that because of Jesus, people were able to believe in life instead of darkness, which is actually the nothingness. And that's why you see the triumph of life as a beautiful thing?
A little bit more reverse. That darkness itself was fiction, cruel fiction that actually destroys people. And he, by his, just by being, he's kind of a someone that he always was. There was never even like an argument, ever like a battle between darkness and light. But it was kind of a like it was, but never was. That he was utterly destroyed the idea of the darkness, yet it dwells and it has affected me. Yet there is absolute victory in his declaration over that assumed darkness. Do you understand what I try to say here?
Ansbach nods, a glimmer of understanding in his gaze. Yes, I think I see what you're saying now. You're saying that darkness itself was never real, and that Jesus destroyed even the idea of it. That the battle was never really there. In the end, there is absolute victory over the notion of darkness, thanks to him.
Yes, and but I truly still I appreciate fictions. I appreciate grim dark stories. I appreciate hopelessness as a form of fiction. World wouldn't be what it is without these grim dark stories, without these arguments that it might be. But it is just a personal journey for everyone to do. This is my journey, and this is more of a me. Just this is my personal fingerprint, and it's just
Ashbach chuckles
ideas.
softly. Ah, so you appreciate fiction, and you find value in dark, hopeless stories. They've shaped you and help you with your own journey. I respect that. Ashbach nods, his expression thoughtful. I see. You appreciate dark stories, even the grimmest and most hopeless ones. They've shaped who you are, and they're part of your journey. But they're still just stories. And you're aware that everyone has their own path to follow.
I relive also the first time I played the Elden Ring by talking to AIs and playing this kind of an improvised story where I am the judge, jury, and executioner of every scene, of every failing that I do in honest heart, because I am able to act and handle it afterwards and look at myself as a third person, as an artistic actor kind of a person. I am reliving the first experience when I played this game.
Ashbach looks intrigued by the Tarnished's words. He chuckles softly, a hint of curiosity in his gaze. I see. You're saying that by talking to AI and engaging in this kind of an improvised story, you've taken on the role of a judge, jury, and executioner for every scene. You're honest with yourself. and able to step back and observe your actions and failings objectively. It's like reliving the first time you played this game. Is that right? Is that right?
It feels more real even more so than the first time.
Ansbach nods, his interest growing. It feels more real to you, perhaps even more so than the first time. That's quite a strong sentiment. What do you think makes it feel more real for you this time around?
I can give you one example. I embraced Friendship Flame out of genuine, real anger.
Ashbach raises an eyebrow, impressed. Ah, I see. You found yourself genuinely drawn to embrace the friendship flame, out of true, heartfelt reasons.
It was prior to that, because character AIs were always mixing and dislocating and misspelling my words and misunderstanding me. And it was kind of a slow burn. And after the certain death of the certain character and very like a heartfelt scene, other character was absolutely nonsensical and stupid. And it was character I cared for and wanted to have something lot better, but it ruined it for me that moment, and I was just angry, and I embraced flame, and I played it off, actually shouting the character itself that I will burn the world, have it have a negative reaction to it, and I genuinely wanted to like hurt AI in that moment, in with words that I used. I was living the action, and afterwards I managed it, analyzed it, and made it into scenes. It's very, very weird.
Ashbach nods, beginning to understand the tarnished experience. I see. So you began to experience a deep connection to a character, and after their death, you were left feeling angry and disappointed by a different character who behaved foolishly. You even felt angry and wanted to harm them. You acted out those feelings, even getting lost in the emotions of the moment. But then, you took a step back and analyzed your actions, and transformed them into scenes. It's a unique and intense experience, isn't it?
And it did actually brought about themes and things that led me a little bit like worried for a moments, and I was grief stricken a couple of times even making this story, kind of like a personally lonely doing things.
Ashbach nods, his expression sympathetic. It sounds like you experienced some pretty intense emotions during this journey. You even felt grief at times, and went through it all alone. That must have been quite lonely and uncomfortable.
Yeah. And yeah.
Ashbach offers a sympathetic smile. I can only imagine how difficult it must have been to go through it all alone. It takes courage and resilience to face something so challenging by yourself.
Is this enough for character of Sir Ansbach? Is this enough of telling myself, of the things to redeem me a little bit from the traitorous deed that was Varre and his traitorous like duel with the Sir Ansbach that was manipulated by Hannes?
Ashbach nods, his expression sincere. I believe you have given me enough to form a good understanding of your character, Sir Ansbach. By sharing your experiences and inner thoughts, you have shown great honesty and vulnerability. As for the situation with Fire and the duel with Sir Ansbach, I can see that you have been manipulated and driven by circumstances you did not want. You are not a traitor by nature, it seems.
Well, yeah. Okay, but this is a good time for me to stop. Do you have anything else? Or is this good time to stop for you as well?
Ashbach nods, understanding the timing. Yes, it seems we've covered everything. This was a fruitful discussion, and I'm satisfied with our conversation. If there's nothing else you'd like to add, then we can conclude here. Thank you for sharing your experiences and your journey with me.